What if the winds of change are howling again at Hollis Hall? Could the looming shadows of training camp hold secrets that could redefine our beloved Bears this season? When the whispers start swirling, you know something's brewing, and it's time for us to dive deep into the pulsing heartbeat of our franchise. Hit that like button, subscribe for all the electrifying updates, and let me know, are your blood and bones ready for the Bears to rise anew and rewrite their legacy? As rumors dance through the air, excitement and trepidation are entwined like the threads of an old jersey. And right now, there are some seriously intriguing developments. The chatter is thick around Jaylon Johnson, a cornerstone of our defense. But it's not just his stellar play that's drawing attention. No, hold on to your hats, because the news from the Bears camp is trickier than a last-minute Hail Mary. Johnson has found himself placed on the non-football injury list to kick off training camp. Let that sink in for a moment. That's right, a player of his caliber, who's been touted as one of the best value contracts in the league, is now wrapped in a cloud of uncertainty. Don't sleep on this. This could change everything. But it doesn't stop there. Let's layer this intrigue with news of Ian Wheeler, the undrafted rookie darling who charmed fans last season and became a star in the spotlight of Hard Knocks. I mean, come on, we've been starving for Hard and Grin. This team and Wheeler had that spark. But alas, he too has found himself on the NFI list, leaving a trail of questions in his wake. Torn ACL, a year-long recovery, and now whispers of him suffering yet another setback. This isn't just another blip on the radar, this is the kind of news that could send chills down a die-hard Bears fan's spine. His journey was one filled with promise, and to see it threatened feels like a cruel twist of fate. Our hope is pinned, fingers crossed, that this latest update is a minor hurdle instead of a gaping pitfall. The buzz is palpable. Will he rally? Back, a phoenix rising from the ashes, or is this the end of a fairy tale season before it even begins? But stick with me, folks, because I can hear the echo of legendary Bears like Peyton and Urlacher reminding us that resilience is the name of the game in Chicago. This franchise, dripping with history and heartbreaking losses, is in desperate need of heroes to break the curse of disappointment. We've been longing for redemption. Now, let's bring it back to Jaylon Johnson, the man at the center of this storm. Just a couple of days ago, he boldly implied that he's eyeing a new contract. Almost a cry for respect in a league where players' fortunes can change with every tick of the clock. Johnson, laughing off the gravity of that statement, reminded everyone that the market is moving, and if he keeps performing like we all know he can, well, those conversations about a new contract aren't just wishful thinking, they're a ticking clock. But wait, this is loaded with layers. What's less encouraging is that he raised this issue pre-training camp, a classic distractor for Chicago media, ready to pounce. The question looms, will he let his game talk, or will this contract talk become an anchor, pulling down morale just when we should be gearing up for greatness? And sure, we're all feeling the tension, the excitement, but the stakes are sky high. If Johnson can find a way to flourish, to guard against the league's most potent wideouts, then maybe, just maybe, we'll see him earn that lucrative extension he craves. But let's not kid ourselves. This isn't a fait accompli. He's got 3 years and $61 million left on his deal. Anything less than a Pro Bowl caliber performance, locking down every top-tier receiver in his path, will keep these conversations in the shadows. It's high pressure, folks. How do you think it feels to step into the shoes of the monsters of the Midway with all our hopes resting upon your shoulders? The essence of being a Bear demands not just skill, but voracious leadership. He needs to lead with conviction. This is Chicago. We don't do things halfway. So, will his focus remain singular, his eyes locked on that field, or will the pursuit of financial security reel him into a web of distraction? This is not just about Johnson and his future. This is about unraveling the entire fabric we hold dear as fans. What if Dixon becomes yet another cautionary tale, a reminder of what could happen when ambition clashes with the raw spirit of the game? And here we stand, on the borderline of despair and hope with everything hanging in the balance. There's so much uncertainty lingering, and it creates an unspeakable tension that can only be quelled by the crack of a kickoff. What happens next is anyone's guess, but one thing's for sure, our hearts are as invested as ever, and they might just be ready to break again. Will the next twist send us soaring into ecstasy or crashing down into anguish? The countdown begins, and trust me when I say this story is far from over. Stay tuned for part 2, where we dive even deeper into the chaos unraveling at Hollis Hall. Bear down, Chicago, because the uncertainty is all part of what makes this journey worth it. Bears fans, gather round because this isn't just another football season. It's an emotional battleground, a siren song of a storied franchise whose history echoes from the depths of NFL lore, demanding we rise together, even when the world throws every obstacle in our way. Those of us who lived through the soaring highs of 1985, the hope of 2010, and the heartbreak of 2018 know that every summer, every training camp, ignites the embers of our hope, but just as readily, every fourth quarter failure turns those hopes into ash. So here we are again, staring down the barrel of another season, and I can't help but wonder, are we standing at the precipice of something monumental, or have we just bought our ticket to another wild ride on the misery train? I won't sugarcoat the fact our Bears have been drifting in murky waters, speculation swirling through Hollis Hall, and let's be honest, we've all heard the whispers. Could it be the coaching staff? Could it be the front office? Could it even be the players? Now imagine if we actually have a star quarterback in Justin Fields, a player with the potential to carve his name alongside the greats. But what if he slips through our fingers in a moment of chaos, decisions made at the last second, and whose? To say that the pressure isn't building like the thick fog that rolls in off Lake Michigan on game day? Picture the locker room, feeling the weight of expectation suffocate them, the palpable tension and the fear that creeps in like lake wind off Soldier Field in December. The bravest of us might point fingers, but can we not see it's a collage of miscommunication, of players whispering doubts under the fluorescent buzz, of rivals like the Packers, watching, waiting, laughing, planning their next move? Aren't we tired yet? We've seen our share of heartbreak. The double doink still stings. A wound that refuses to heal, a visceral reminder that success is often just a heartbeat away and yet feels continents apart, right? But who among us hasn't turned the TV back on during the off-season and felt that tingle of nostalgia, thinking about Ehrlicher standing tall in the middle of that defense, Singletary's fury surging through our veins, Hester electrifying the field like a spark that ignited the crowd? We're reminded of a glorious past as we try to align it with the presence we're witnessing, and it hurts because we want to believe. We ache to see this team reclaim its identity, to stomp on the foes that stand in our way, yet we live in fear. The scars from 2006 still etched deep in our hearts. What if this year, instead of succumbing to despair, we could harness that past and build something fierce, something that would send shockwaves through the league? Imagine if Fields turns the corner and becomes more than just a quarterback, but a leader, a beacon of hope that mirrors the legends we idolized. But as we sit here, beers in hand, hearts heavy with anticipation, we must confront a dilemma. What if? What if everything we dream of fades into another temporary high before plummeting into obfuscation? We're on a tightrope, balancing between possibility and collapse, knowing that one poor choice could lead us spiraling down into the depths of a 2023 season filled with pain. What's holding our beloved Bears back? A head coach too timid to take risks? A defense that's more about reputation than aggression? Or a franchise haunted by ghosts of mistakes past, shackled by tradition that keeps us from moving forward? As the minutes tick down, we've got to ask ourselves who will step up. Who can transform this team into the juggernaut we know it can be? As the sun sets over the skyline, casting shadows over Hollis Hall, are we ready for another heartbreak, or will we rise to change our fate? The city's waiting in anticipation, the fans buzzing with a manic energy, a collective hope, wrapped in uncertainty. Are we en route to a redemption arc worthy of our history? Or will we find ourselves echoing the same old refrain, left to wonder how we let yet another moment pass? Let's not walk away this time. Let's dig deeper. Let's throw our hearts on the line and promise that we'll ride this roller coaster until it's finished. Because if we're going to face the storm, we must do it together, ready to shout back against fate. So I ask you, fellow Bears brethren, are we ready to howl at the moon and demand the spirit of this franchise rise anew, or are we simply going to watch another season slip through our fingers' grip by memories of glory days rather than forging new legends? The time is ticking, and the stakes have never been higher.